Commentate for this, our main event of the evening. We introduce the champion, Chris, the West Side Strangler Brennan. Let's get it all!
All right, guys, we're here to talk about UFC 276 coming up this weekend. I believe there are 2 title fights on the line. It's going to be a full night of great fights. Fight Pass prelims are good. The regular prelims are good, and the main card is just stacked. So we're going to go over, one of the prelims.
Yeah, just one, and this is one that we've been kind of waiting for a little bit. We've been waiting to see Cowboy fight, but he's fighting Jim Miller this time.
And he just took this fight like a week, 2 weeks ago.
Really?
Yeah, it took a short notice because a few weeks back he was supposed to fight Joe Lozon. That fight fell through for the second time. And I believe Cerrone said he didn't want to cut weight again to do that fight again or soon.
Okay.
And now here he is. That's at 155 also because
it's a welterweight fight.
Oh.
According to UFC.
Okay, so maybe Miller's meeting him at 170 because
Cerrone
didn't want to go back to 55, so Jim must be stepping up to 170.
Yep.
Great fight. They're both awesome. They're both old.
They almost have the exact same record. Miller's coming in at 34-16-1. Cowboys coming in at 36-16-2.
God, yeah, that's a lot of fights.
That's a lot of
Between
fights,
the two
man.
of them, I don't know.
I mean, that's
math, but
that's close.
Got to be
to
getting close to 100, huh?
Yeah,
Kinda
34
like him
and
Joe
60.
Lozon
That's actually, I think it's over 100 fights.
Him and Joe were going to be 99, right?
I
believe
that's
we
right.
talked about that.
Yeah, we did talk about that.
Man, that's a lot of fights between two people.
Miller's squatty. He's 5'8".
Yeah, squatty.
Yeah,
like the same height as the guy sitting next to you.
Sorry.
Anyway,
Right.
And old. I'm older though.
And you're probably about 170 right now, right?
72.
So he's walking, looking about like you.
Yeah.
So, but Donald's 6'1", so he's gonna have a little bit of a reach advantage.
Yeah, it's a
not
fight.
much.
It's a fight just like Donald and Lozon. I don't want to see. I like both these guys. I wish they would all 3 retire.
Yeah.
And ride off into the sunset with their bonuses and everything.
Right.
Jim Miller's a stud. He's fought recently. He's kind of been off and on, but he's won his last 2 in a row. Cerrone has been kind of absent for a little bit. I don't know that he's fought since he fought Connor, huh? Once maybe.
Let me pull it up and see. I know they've been trying. So, no, he's actually fought. There was 3 times.
Oh.
Anthony Pettis, a no contest against Nico Price, and a loss to Alex Morano.
Okay. Oh yeah, he fought Alex Morano's from Texas. Yeah. Again, neither one of these guys are the Jim Miller or the Donald Cerrone of old, of past. And but fighting each other, I guess it might look really good because they're both still really good. They're just, older. Timing's probably off. Probably not quite as hungry, and I'm sure looking to go out on a win. I'm sadly, God, this is a tough fight to call, because Miller, he gets it done. They're both good on the ground, both really good on the ground. Cerrone's underrated on the ground. I'm gonna go with.
Like a dice roll. Let's see.
I'm gonna go with Jim Miller.
Wow. Okay.
And I love Cerrone. He's one of my favorite. Both those guys. The Joe Lozons, the Cowboy Cerrones, Jim Millers, Frankie Edgars, all the guys. They're all super cool.
Yeah.
They're all super good, great fighters, but not trash talkers. Just.
Come in there. They're just kind of
business.
They're like blue collar fighters almost.
That's exactly what they are. That's exactly what they are. And yes, it's a hard fight to call, but I'll go ahead and just for the money, I'll go with Jim Miller.
I believe. Let me double check, but I think Jim Miller is actually the favorite on this one. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. But I think you're going where the money is. Yeah, Jim Miller is minus 200. Cowboys plus 170.
Okay, so you'd have to bet 200 on Jim to win 100.
Yeah, I think that's how that works.
Yeah. So Miller's a favorite. Whatever. I'm gonna stick with it. I'm going with Miller.
Okay. So then, as we advance to the main card, as you said, this is stacked, and we'll talk about. They actually had an addition to the main card late because of a cancellation.
Right. I'm not sure the Miesha Tate fight got canceled. I'm not sure why. She was fighting Lauren Murphy out of Houston, and Murphy just fought for the belt a little bit ago against Valentina, and this was supposed to be Miesha's first fight down at 25.
Okay.
And so I'm not sure if the weight cut went awry and that's why the fight's not happening, or I'm not sure why.
Okay.
But it's off.
I know it's not on, but had you seen anything with Miesha at 25? I mean, she probably hadn't even got down there yet.
She hadn't gotten to 25 yet, but I've seen her looking pretty small.
Okay.
In pictures that she's posted, yeah.
So the first fight of the night is going to be awesome. Pedro Munoz and Sugar Sean O'Malley.
So this is a kind of what everyone's been wanting with Sean O'Malley. They want to see him step up and fight somebody.
Somebody.
Right.
Right.
And this guy is somebody. You know, Pedro Munoz is tough.
Yep.
He's a great technical fighter, hard hitter. He's got a lot of high-level wins under his belt. Sean O'Malley's got a lot of wins under his belt.
Yeah, he's coming in 15-1, it looks like.
But just hasn't fought the top guys yet. And his one top guy that he fought, he got injured, and the fight ended from the injury, and they never rematched. And so that'll be a really interesting fight. He's super technical, super fast, real long.
Yeah.
Has a solid ground game. He's got a great opportunity here to win this fight, and what that's going to do to him though is, like I talk about with Luke, once you beat that guy, everybody's that guy after that.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's no going backwards. You're going, so that's why it's like baby steps, baby steps, baby steps. The next guy's better, the next guy's better, the next guy's better. This went from this guy's here, the next guy's there.
Yep.
He's
big jump.
Yeah, he's jumping up into the rankings, I believe. And it's a big jump. I'm gonna go with him though. I'm gonna jump behind him and
You're picking Sugar Sean?
Yep, I'm going to go with O'Malley.
So coming into this, Pedro's lost 4 out of his last 5, and he's got some names. He's got Sterling on there, Jose Aldo, Dominic Cruz. He did beat Jimmy Rivera and lost to Frankie Edgar as well. So, he's coming in 1-4 right now in his last 5.
All 4 of the guys he's lost to would also beat Sean O'Malley.
Yeah, that's probably accurate.
So it doesn't really tell me a whole lot. All that tells me is he's fought. How did he lose to those guys? He's fought very high level guys.
There were a lot of
recently.
decisions in there. Cruz was unanimous. Actually, they're all decisions. The only one that wasn't unanimous was Frankie Edgar.
Split?
Everything else, it was a split decision.
Yeah. So that lets you know that guy's on the level with those 4 guys.
Yep.
And we still don't know if O'Malley is or not.
Yep.
I'm just going to throw it out there and gamble on him and say I'm going with Sean O'Malley. And that is if I'm wrong on Saturday night, then I am. But he's definitely put in the work. He's definitely busting his butt to get there, and I'm glad he's stepping up.
Do you like what O'Malley brings to the cage? Do you like his game?
When he's fighting, I do. When he's talking and dancing and shooting baskets and stuff in the cage, I don't.
Yeah.
But I do think he is a really skilled fighter, a really technical fighter. If he gets through this fight with a W, all of that basketball playing and all the other stuff kind of comes to fruition for him. He's proven that he belongs there and showing that all of that's not just trash talk. He can actually back it up.
He's young. He's only 27.
Yep.
Pedro's 35, so he's got a lot of experience, all the way around, some life experience, and then obviously.
And I'm sure Pedro thinks that he's going to. I don't know if he's underestimating him, but he's thinking I can get a win here.
Okay.
I'm coming off 4 losses or 4 out of 5.
Yeah, I'm gonna get right on this fight.
I can get a win out of this guy, and those young up and comers, and I think he might get surprised. We'll see.
If Pedro wins, how does he win this fight? If you were in Pedro's corner,
him.
No, but if you were in his corner, how would you be scheming against Sugar Sean?
Yeah, a lot of pressure.
Okay.
Honestly, kind of the pressure that the I don't know the kid's name with the green hair that lost to OMalley.
Oh, that kid
beat
that
up
just
really
got
bad.
yeah. I don't remember his
so
name.
Pedro Munoz on a whole different level than that kid.
Yeah.
If he can pressure him and keep a little more in the pocket and not stay on the end of Sean's punches, he's got he'll have a decent chance of landing hard stuff. He's got good leg kicks. He's got heavy hands.
Was that Chris Boutino?
Yeah. That kid was way too tough. I don't know if he was coming on a 1-fight or a 3-fight deal, but I guarantee Dana signed him to more fights after that night.
I know you talk about protecting the fighter, and the sad part was, we rehashed this, but they called it with 27 seconds left in the third round.
In my opinion, that was one of the worst stoppages in a long time. Like there were points in that fight where I guess you could have stopped the fight.
Yeah.
That wasn't one of those points. There was 27 seconds left. He was actually throwing punches when Herb stepped in and stopped that fight. It was Herb, right?
It was Herb, yeah.
Stepped in between and stopped it. Herb is so hot and cold. He'll either let you die in there or he'll ruin your career and stop it early. He's one or the other.
Yeah.
And it's I always am err on the side of a little long than a little short.
Yeah.
Because look, the guy was fine. The second he stepped in, he was upset that the fight was over. He had 27 seconds left to say, I stepped in on, I forget how many days, but it's a very short notice fight that he took that.
Yeah.
And
his
went
face
the distance
looked
with him. Yeah, he got beat up, no question. But he was landing punches. Like the later the fight went, the more punches he was landing.
I saw a podcast, and Sean afterwards was like, my hands hurt.
Oh,
I mean,
he didn't have 2 broken hands.
His hands were just,
For
just
sure. He landed so many punches.
So many strikes. So, all right,
cool.
well,
going OMalley.
Going OMalley.
The gamble's on.
All right, next fight then. This is the one that got added up to the main card. This is Robbie Lawler and Brian Barberena.
Did I talk about guys who I wish would retire already?
Yeah, you put Robbie Lawler in that camp.
I love Robbie. I love...
he's another blue-collar fighter.
Well, he is. He's exactly one of those guys, He doesn't talk trash. He's old school. He's been around. He's fought through early UFC, through Strikeforce, through back to the UFC. This guy had a resurgence in his career, came back older and won the belt.
He's 40, man.
Yeah. And he's just a monster. And he, his second half of his career was just mind-boggling because he was good early on, but he wasn't phenomenal. He wasn't the champ, and went away, went to Strikeforce, did some stuff in Strikeforce, won the belt, I believe. Came back. He lost to Diaz. Came back to the UFC later.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, he's a monster. He has the war with Rory. He beats, I forget who he beat to win the belt. Johnny Hendricks, maybe? I'm not sure. Wins the belt. And then comes back, beats Diaz late in his career. Just beat him a couple fights ago. Maybe his last fight.
It was his last fight.
Yeah. Beats Nick Diaz on his return after like 7 or 8 years.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's just a straight up killer. He's a great fighter. They just showed a clip of him and Rory, and one of the all-time, not only the all-time greatest fights of all time, like not one of them, it was the greatest fight of all time, but one of the greatest moments in UFC history, and I was there for that fight, was the end of round 4. They are bloody. I mean, both of them, Robbie's lip is hanging off. There is a cut in his lip that is just wide open. Rory's face is destroyed. Rory head kicks him, sort of checks it. The bell rings, and Robbie stands there. Rory stands there, and they start walking towards each other. And they're dead. Their faces are dead, and they're just walking towards each other like it's not over.
Yeah.
And then McCarthy had to step between them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is round 4 going into 5. You're exhausted. You're wasting your 1 minute break right now
right.
by not walking as quickly back to your corner as possible to rest.
Down.
Yeah, and they start walking towards each other, and I was just like, oh my! The whole crowd stood up and just went ape. Oh my God, it was crazy.
So
it was awesome.
The only moment that I feel like that I can think of this comparable to that, Poirier fought, was it Gaethje? And I think it was in between rounds 2 and 3. And Poirier spit out. He got a drink of water, spit it out, and he pointed to him and he's like, "Let's go!" Like Like, I don't even want to wait. Let's go now.
Let's go now.
And I don't remember who it was. I feel like it might have been Gaethje, but it might have been Ferguson. I don't remember who it was. But they were like, all right. And they both stand up. And I don't think they even got the full minute. They both stood up and went at it. And I don't think they got the full minute in
The
between.
ref wouldn't let him go.
Really?
No way. He'll push him back. But the fact that they were trying to,
and their corners
and
were like,
close to the end of the minute anyway. Maybe
it was pretty cool.
But yeah, that's awesome.
So you look at Robbie Lawler. He's 40. You got his last few fights that he had. You already talked about Nick Diaz. He fought Colby Covington, Ben Askren, Dos Anjos, Cerrone, Tyrone Woodley. You got Rory McDonald in this, Carlos Condon. I mean, you start going back, and this guy's his resume.
Dude,
he's got Rory McDonald.
You can do that for 10 years. You can go down that for 10 years. And it's
I know.
Name after name after name after name.
It was funny because I started, and literally I'm scrolling, and I'm having to, like, go through multiple pages of this dude's fights. And he comes in 29 and 15.
Yeah.
Barberena's coming in at 17 and 8. I don't think, Barberena's obviously going to come in with a little less experience. Not that he's not experienced.
I bet he's the favorite.
He's 33. And if we look at the favorite, no.
He's not.
No. Robbie Lawler's coming in at minus 120, and Brian's coming in at plus 100.
All right, cool.
So who do you like?
I mean, I like Robbie. Brian is a savage. I've talked to him on Instagram before. We've kind of messaged back and forth after one of his fights before. And he's a phenomenal fighter, tough guy, likes to grind it out. Man, I just think Robbie is – I'm going to go with Robbie for one more time, one more ride.
Has he even talked about hanging? Do you see him leave the gloves inside the cage after this? Do you even any idea?
I have no idea. I mean, I would like to think so, especially if he gets a win.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I mean, on one hand, it's like, okay, if he gets the win, it'd be nice to go out. But I can also see him be like, okay, I'm not done yet.
Right.
See?
Well, that's the problem.
Yeah.
These guys chase that win.
It's
and
addicting,
you end up with,
right?
like Chuck Liddell had like 6 knockout losses in a row chasing that win.
Yeah.
Randy Couture had some losses in a row. Tito did for a while, and he went back and fought somewhere else. But they chase that win to get it, and then when they get it, like, oh yeah, I can still compete. So then they want to compete some more.
Yeah.
It's something that you try and chase forever. My biggest challenge in my career was the day I stopped fighting. I went to don't judge. I went to a Bon Jovi concert like a year and a half after I
living on a prayer, man.
Yeah, a year and a half after I retired, and I'm standing in the crowd.
Yeah.
And they come out on stage. The crowd goes crazy.
And you were like, oh.
And I'm not even at a concert right now. I'm thinking I just walked out.
Yeah.
The crowd goes crazy.
Yeah.
Fight in Japan.
Yeah.
Whatever. But that feel, you cannot replicate that feel. And then the feel of the win. The second the fight's over, that win, man, nothing compares to that. So, yeah, it's a tough thing, and especially for the guys at that level that have been the champ, and have tasted all that, and the money now, it's just be tough to walk away from.
I just went back to Robbie Lawler's first fight. Any guess what year it was?
When I fought Pat, 98, 2004, 3.
01.
01.
Guy's been fighting for 21 years. His fight career is old enough to drink.
It is.
That's legit. You go back. He fought Chris Lytle, which is kind of cool. He fought Tim Kennedy. I mean, he's fought some.
Yeah, Strikeforce. It was Tim Kennedy was in Strikeforce.
I think so. Let me see if I can find that again. I just said it was Strikeforce.
Strikeforce was phenomenal. Like Strikeforce and WEC, in my opinion, were like 2 of the all-time greatest organizations back in the day.
It's awesome.
Anyway, I'm gonna go with Robbie.
Sean Strickland, Alex Pereira. This is the third fight on the list. They're fighting at middleweight.
It's a tough fight. I like Strickland.
Okay.
I like him in the fight. I think that he's got a lot of grit. He's just a tough dude. Great striker, solid wrestling and solid ground. I think he beats that guy by wrestling him a little bit. I'm sure he could strike with him, but I think he strikes them enough to take him down and get it done on the ground. Alex is a super wild, on the feet, spinning everything, kicking,
Is he like an Adesanya kind of
Yeah,
feel?
but even more. Like, he's more, I believe he's hurt himself in the post-fight celebration. Like he does
the backflip
crazy
and screws
kicks,
it. Yeah.
just wild stuff. I'm not even sure what style, of martial art he did growing up. It had to be some sort of traditional. It's not your typical Muay Thai or whatever, or even karate. It looks like capoeira. But I think Sean Strickland's kind of a no-nonsense guy. He's going to get through that, jam that up a little bit, fight from the inside, take him down, wrestle him, beat him up on the ground.
So, Alex Pereira comes in 5-1 as a professional, and he's 2-0 in UFC. This dude doesn't have a long resume. There's not a lot to this guy. Yeah. Okay, right there. I can also open it up for you if you want.
I'm just trying to figure out.
Here, hold on.
I think it's the wrong dude. Oh no, it was not the guy I thought it was. I thought it was the ponytail guy. Something else. I thought it was Alex, maybe Alexis, whatever.
Get back in your mic.
That guy's tough.
Is he?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's gonna be a tough fight. So that is still a fight that Strickland should take it to the ground.
Okay.
He should definitely want to get on the mat with that guy.
If you're looking at it, Strickland 23-5. A lot of his wins, only 16 are winning by submission. I know that doesn't mean anything with respect to what kind of ground game you have.
16 is a lot of subs.
16%.
Oh.
Sorry, I didn't finish my sentence. 16%, whereas he's got 40% by strikes, and then he's got 44% going the distance by decision.
What's Alex?
So Alex, again, he's only 2-0 in the UFC, and
what as a pro?
At 5-1, I believe, as a pro. I mean, this guy doesn't.
How did he get there? Contender Series or something? How did he get there so early?
I don't. What JF Jungle Fight 82?
Brazil.
I mean,
that's in Brazil.
Yeah. So he fought 3 fights in the Jungle Fight in 2015 and 2016, and then there's LFA 95 in 2020, and then he shows up on the Usman Covington card in 2021.
Huh. I'm gonna go with Strickland.
Okay.
Out of experience.
Yeah. Be interesting, man, if this guy Pereira comes up.
Yeah.
That's
surprise.
Yeah, hello. The first of the 2 title fights, Holloway and Volkanovski.
Number 3.
Yeah, this is number 3.
So this is weird. This typically doesn't happen. The only time I can think about this happening where you've lost and get a third shot is me and Miletich, because we had a draw and then a split decision loss, and then it wasn't matched up again, but we came to each other in the finals of a UFC tournament.
Okay.
So that's how the third one happened. But you typically, a rubber match is if I beat you, then you beat me.
Sure.
The third one's going to settle it.
Absolutely.
Well, Max has beat him, or Volkanovski's beat him twice.
Correct.
But split at least on one of them.
I'm pulling it up right now. The first one was unanimous for Volkanovski, and the second one was a split decision.
So I want to say, even the one that was unanimous, there are a lot of people that thought Max won. The second one, more people thought Max won. And I think that's why Dana's putting this back together again. Plus, I think they're both light years ahead of number 3. Whoever the number 1 contender is outside of them, or number 2.
And I can look that up in just a second. Those fights were in the end of 2019 and July of 2020. They were only like 8 months apart from each other. Let me see if I can get the rankings here really quick.
Max has kind of decimated the guys that he's fought.
Yeah, so Brian Ortega, then you got Yair Rodriguez, Josh Emmett. You got Chan Sung Young way down here. You got Bryce at number 9. Dan Igue's at 11, Barboza's 13. But yeah, when you look at this, it's Volkanovski.
So who? Can you go back to Max's last fight?
Yeah, hold on just a second. Let me get back there. Max's last fight was Rodriguez.
Okay, so that, and who was before him?
Calvin Cotter.
Calvin Cater.
Cater.
So Calvin Cater, really good boxer out of Boston. He trains over by Joe Lozon, those guys. and Max is standing in the middle of the cage, hitting him, looks over at DC, and starts slipping punches,
Yes.
saying, I'm the best boxer in the UFC, I'm the best, bang, 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 hits him, and he's not even looking at him. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life, and it was working. He was not getting hit, and he was landing punches while talking trash to DC.
And not even watching the punches that were coming towards him.
He was slipping them without even looking, and I was like, oh my God, look at this guy. And he's like, I had the best boxing in the, I don't know if he said in the UFC or in the lightweight division, whatever.
Okay.
But it was wild to watch, and he is. He's very good, man, and on another level than a lot of the guys in that division. So he's at 145, so he's a featherweight.
I feel like Max has taken a ton of damage.
He has taken a lot of damage. Not as much, so I used to confuse him and Ferguson a lot. Not like Ferguson.
Yeah.
Not like Ferguson, but he has taken a decent amount of damage. Volkanovski is just a freaking monster. You know, he is a little bowling ball. He's a tough SOB, man. He hits hard, got a good chin, hard to take down. You know, I don't know. I don't know who wins this fight, but I'm gonna have to.
I mean, if Volkanovski's coming in at 24-1, Holloway's coming in at 23-6. And
2 of those 6 are Volkanovski.
Yep. And you were saying that there's discussion about whether or not he should have taken at least one of those fights, if not both of them. And Volkanovski, his only loss came. It was his 4th fight. This was Australian Fighting Championship in 2013. Since then, the dude
nobody.
Some dude named Corey Nelson. I don't know that name.
Click on that guy's name.
Corey Nelson.
Yeah.
Loaded up right here, but he's been on a
What's
tear
his record
since
now?
then. 19-8. Last time he fought was in 2019, but he has never done anything in the UFC or Bellator, BFW, Shamrock events, CFC, Gladiator, cage fighting.
So Volkanovski succeeded.
Yes.
Lost to him. Never rematched him, huh?
Nope.
Yeah, lost to him and moved along quickly.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Volkanovski.
I mean, it's got to be hard to go against him, but at the same time, when you look,
I would love to see Max win.
Okay.
I like Max a lot. I think he's a phenomenal fighter, a great personality, awesome for the sport. He's from Hawaii. You know, I love it over there as well. But I just think that clearly Volkanovski's got his number enough to where he's the one that needs to make the adjustments. Max has to make a lot of adjustments to try and sway the judges the other direction.
Yeah.
He's hit him with everything already. He's tried everything. You know, Volkanovski, I think, has got to make a couple adjustments and make it that much harder to beat him.
And just keep coming and doing what he's been doing.
Yeah, and just do it a little better.
That brings us to the main event. Israel Adesanya, Jared Cannonier.
I'm going to go out on a limb here before I even talk about this, and I'm going to say I'm going Cannonier.
So big money for Adesanya. Minus 410 for Adesanya. Plus 330 for Cannonier.
Plus 330?
Yeah.
So if you bet on Cannonier, bet $100, you win 330? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would put my money on him. I think Adesanya is phenomenal. You know, I watched him fight live in Melbourne, Australia, against Whitaker when he beat him the first time. So
is that in Perth?
No, it was in Melbourne.
Okay. Oh, you said that.
Yeah. At like 8 a.m. in the morning. It was wild. I don't even know what time the undercard started.
That's brutal.
But Cannonier's tough. He's kind of got a great style to beat Adesanya. And don't quote or don't put your money here, you know, gambling on what I'm saying, because it'd be dumb to bet against Adesanya really thinking that this guy was going to smoke Adesanya. But if I was going to bet, that's one of the fights that night that I think an upset could happen. I think that guy's got what it takes to upset Adesanya. But Adesanya, again, like a couple other guys that are champs in their weight class, different level. You know what I mean, he's shown that he's on a different level.
Yeah.
He moved up and lost to
I was looking to see what that is. I can tell you. Hold on.
Jan Blachowicz.
Yep, Blachowicz. Yep.
And Blachowicz showed that you could wrestle him and hold him down, you know, and that's what he did. I would imagine Cannonier wants to hit him and wrestle him and try to beat him on the ground.
You beat me to it. That's a question I was going to ask, is if you were Cannonier, if you were cornering Cannonier, how do you approach Adesanya? Where's
I think anybody that ever fights Adesanya should want to end up on the ground.
Right.
By your doing, not by
his.
Not by his and putting you on your back.
But he's so unorthodox, and he's got those weird movements, and you don't know where things are coming from, that I suspect it's probably hard to want to get close enough to take him down.
And he hits hard, you know, and he's long, super long. But at the same time, he's like the owner of a couple of the most boring fights in UFC history as well. Like him and Yoel Romero, that was a terrible, terrible fight because he didn't want to get close enough to get taken down or get hit with a heavy power of Yoel.
Yeah.
So he was trying to stick and move, but he wasn't doing a lot of sticking. There was like very little punches thrown in that whole fight. And I think he's had another fight that was like that as well. I can't remember, but a good striker against a good grappler, the striker a lot of times, if they're not super proficient at stopping takedowns, you know, you'll pull the trigger a lot less, you know, and that might happen here. But I think Cannonier is just nails. I think he's going to try to walk in and put pressure on him. I think the more pressure you put on him, the better. Jam him up a little bit. If you stay at the end of his punches, you're going to get in trouble quick.
So it's interesting just to look at the size difference. Obviously, it shouldn't surprise you that Adesanya is going to have a significant reach. But their weight listed on UFC's website, they list Izzy at 185 and they list Jared at 204. Now, I know they got to come in and they've got to make the same weight for the fight, but looking at him, Jared's gigantic. The dude's cut, man.
Can you tell me real quick, click on Cannonier and tell me who he's fought last few fights?
Yeah. Derek Brunson, Kelvin Gastelum. He lost to Robert Whitaker. Jack Hermanson.
Okay, so those are 85ers. I was just curious if he was a 205er coming down to fight him, but no, he fights at 85.
Yeah, it looks like, Glover Teixeira, Anderson Silva.
Glover's a 205er.
Okay.
He's the champ there, or just lost the belt there.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That's right. But Anderson fought at 185, didn't he?
Yeah.
So I'm hearing you saying on this one that you're liking, you're thinking if there's going to be an upset on this, that Cannonier's the one that's going to do it.
Yep.
And I know you're.
I was thinking that on the way over here too, and I was kind of glancing at the card on the way here. He's a guy that I think has a shot, a good shot, not just like a shot in the park. You know, I think he's got
right. So you're saying there's a chance. It's not
there's a chance.
Not at that level.
Right.
It's going to be a great night. I'm actually super bummed. We're having a bunch of people over Saturday, so I'm going to miss these. So I'm going to try and catch the replay or
having a bunch of people over for that.
I wish.
I'll text you about it. I'll keep you in the loop of what's happening.
Wife has other plans. Yeah, looking forward to it.
We'll be back at the beginning of the week, right, with the recap.
Yes.
And then Tuesday. We'll have Matt Schnell, UFC fighter Matt Schnell on the podcast, and then we'll have that out by...
it'd probably be end of the week or the first part of the week after that. We'll pace it out a little bit.
Yeah, so that'll be cool.
Looking forward to it.
Exciting weekend.
Thanks, man.
Sir. Thank you.
It is all over, just like that.